Hey everybody, we are back on the Uncle's Show. I am Uncle Rob in Little Rock as normal, and Uncle Rhino is on the road still. Seems like he is never home anymore, but he's doing it for the tribe. We've got ourselves a guest today, Rhino. You excited about this one?
Man, I was born excited. This man is a legend. He's made so many ways for so many who came behind him, and we're guys like him. We're standing on his shoulders. You know.
When I told you we had him coming on, you're like, yes. You were
Yes.
you were like, I've always looked up to him. I want to get him on here. Let's just talk about it. It's Mr. T. Graham Brown. How's it going, sir?
Everything's beautiful, man. Good to talk to y'all.
Good to talk to you. Do you go by T? Do you go by Tony? What do you go by?
T. Graham, Tony, his Teenus, whatever you want.
That's right. We did call you his Tina's back in the day, back in like the mid '80s. For the folks, which if they're living under a rock, they may not know who you are. Tell the folks that don't know who you are. Tell us a little bit about yourself, T.
Oh, man, I moved up to Nashville from Athens, Georgia in '82, so I've been here a long time and started out singing demos and then signed with Capitol Records in '84, I think, and they put out I Tell It Like It Used to Be in '85, I believe, and that got me going, man. You know, I never was the biggest star in the world, but I had a pretty good run at radio.
Oh no, you're a big star, man. You're making #1 hits. You're getting constant top 10s, top 5s. Darlene hit #1. You're a big star, man. Be modest though. That's cool. Be humble. Be modest. So how did that all come about, man? It's like you're in Georgia, and you obviously knew you could sing. You just decided, hey, I'm going to go to Nashville, give it a shot, or how did that work?
Oh, I played in the clubs for 9 years before we moved to Nashville. We were living on the farm. Both sides of my family are farmers, and Sheila and I were living on the farm. And she came home one day and said, "We're going to Nashville." And I was really scared. Actually, I didn't know anybody in Nashville. I didn't know what it was going to be like, but we loaded up the old '59 Ford wagon and headed to Nashville. And then I started singing demos like a lot of people, and my voice got passed around Music Row on those demo tapes. And the folks at Capitol Records signed me, and I was doing a lot of jingles back then, a lot of commercials. And they threw me out on the road with Kenny Rogers. I mean, right off the bat, I went from like the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville, a little bitty place, to working with Kenny Rogers.
There's 20,000
seaters and all. Kenny Rogers was the biggest thing on the planet back then, and so I did about 300 shows with him. But I've been all over the place, man. I've been everywhere the grass grows green, and luckily I had a good enough run at radio that it's allowed me to work all these years, and I still got a band and a bus and all that hillbilly stuff, and they made me a member of the Grand Ol Opry, which was the biggest thing that ever happened to Sheila and me. And
big time honor right there. Absolutely.
Yeah, the biggest, I think. That and the Country Music Hall of Fame. The Opry's, everybody wants to walk out on that stage. I've done it about 500 times now, and headed out there tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's always a blast, man. It's just hard to describe how cool the Opry is.
And he said he was never a big star. You're a big star, my man.
Well, I'm hanging in there, man. I'm 71 years old and I ain't ready to quit yet.
Don't ever fool yourself, man. You were just as hot as anybody in that period, man. Like I said, we played your records. It was still when it was on 45. We'd play the heck out of that vinyl until we had to get new copies because it wore out.
T. Graham,
yeah.
We were talking about you the other day, and I'm pretty sure you used to having burning ears, but Tom Worth and I were talking about you, and we were talking about how there's just certain people and their talent is timeless. and you're one of those. You and I crisscrossed. We never got to work together, but I think you and Tom Worth got to know each other really well, and he's always been very close to me. And it's the light recognizes light, and people like yourself, you're beautiful. The humility is so beautiful, but you are iconic. You've touched stars people that didn't even know were out there.
Well, I'm
And I
very
forgot
blessed.
you had a big hit with Tanya Tucker back. "Don't Go Out," I think was the name of that song. Didn't
Yeah, that was probably 1990, 91, something like that. And Tanya, Tanya was on Capitol Records too, and so I've been knowing her since the mid '80s, and she's like a sister to me. We stay in close contact. And
your music is always going to stay alive, man. I wish I could have heard that way again. I mean, I've named almost your whole catalog. I mean, you've had some big old hits. I'm not gonna lie, I was a big T. Graham fan back in the day. We're just proud to have you here, man. Are you still recording
Thank
now?
you.
Are you still
Yeah, well, I
recording?
got a project out right now that's called From Memphis to Muscle Shoals. I went down to Fame Recording Studio in Muscle Shoals and cut 14 1960s soul songs, and that were either originally cut in Memphis or originally cut in Muscle Shoals. And I got that thing home, and I was talking to Dwight Yoakam. We keep up with each other, and he asked me what I've been up to, and I told him I cut these soul songs. And he said, "Man, did you cut a song called 'I'm Your Puppet'?" And I said, "Well, matter of fact, I did." And he said, "Can I sing on it?" And I said, "Heck yeah, you can sing on it." So I sent the tracks out to Hollywood, and he did a duet and went back and sang harmony on everything. He's a perfectionist, and he sent it back to him, and it sounded so good. This record wasn't going to have any duets on it, but when I got the Dwight's track back, I thought, man, I'm gonna call Tanya, and then I called Winona and Delbert McClinton and
Yes.
Sammy Hagar's on it. Sam Moore, the late great Sam Moore from Sam and Dave, is on it. Eddie Floyd, I don't know, a lot of people don't know who Eddie Floyd wrote the song "Knock on Wood," and he had a hit on "Knock on Wood." So I was able to get Eddie to sing a duet. Little Anthony from Little Anthony and the Imperials is on it. It turned into 11 duets. And like I said, man, I'm 71 years old, and it was so cool when it came out. It debuted at #1 on the blues album chart. So that made me feel real good. And
Absolutely.
and right now, right this minute, I'm working on a gospel album for the Gaither Company. We're about halfway finished with it, and I can't wait to get it. And then after that, I'm gonna do what I call just a regular T. Graham Brown record. I hadn't done a T. Graham Brown record in a long time, like 20 years or something. So I'm gonna.
We need another one. We need
Yeah,
another one, son. Come on.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that.
Didn't you have an album called "The Last Resort"?
No, but there was a song called "The Last Resort." There was
That's what I
I
was
don't know,
thinking.
I don't know how far up the charts it got. I think it was the top 5. It was off the album called "Brilliant Conversationalist."
That's it. Brilliant conversationalist, man. Again, that's another big hit that you had.
Yeah, that was a good record too. And then, well, we did the "Tell It Like It Used to Be" album, and so "Tell It Like It Used to Be" was a great record. And then we did "Hell and High Water," which was a #1, and we did "Don't Go to Strangers." That was a #1. And then I did "I Wish That I Could Hurt That Way Again." That was a good record for us. And then I did the Brilliant Conversations record. Then I did one called "Come As You Were," an album called "Come As You Were." And so they put out "Come As You Were," and it was a pretty good hit too. And then they put out "Darlene." It was a #1. And then I did one with Barry Beckett, the Swampers down there. And it had a song on it called "If You Could Only See Me Now," which was a pretty good hit. And then the '90s weren't much for me as far as having hits out. But then in 1998, I cut a album and called it "Wine into Water," and "Wine into Water" it never was a big hit, but it's gone around the world being a recovery song for addicts and alcoholics, and so that's my favorite song because it's helped so many people. God has used that song unbelievably, man. Unbelievable. Somebody put it on YouTube. It's had about 10 million views, and it's mainly from addicts, alcoholics, and their families, word of mouth, passing it around, Yeah.
You did an inspiration on that, man. You moved a lot of people.
Well, that was a good one, and then we put out one called "The Next Right Thing," and it didn't really have any hits on it, but it was, critically acclaimed record. It was one of the very best I've ever done. And then I did a gospel album called "Forever Changed," and that was in 14, I think, and it got a Grammy nomination. So we're still at it, man. I just trying to stay relevant.
You're relevant, whether you want to think so or not. You are definitely relevant, man. You did a couple weeks ago. We had Deborah Allen on our show. You did a Sunday gospel matinee with her at the Franklin Theater a couple weeks ago. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Deborah's an old friend of mine, and I went down there. She's going to do a series of those gospel shows, and I was her first guest, and went down there and sang, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. Had a lot of fun. Chris Golden, who is William Lee Golden's son, was there. And so we're doing that. And this week is CMA Fest week, and I'm doing the Opry tonight. Then I'm going to go to the Bluebird Cafe. They're having their 46th anniversary tomorrow night. I'm doing that. And then Jimmy Fortune and I are going to sign autographs in the Gaither booth at the Convention Center on Friday, and then we're going to go to the Gospel Music Hall of Fame and do a show, and then I load up the bus and we head out to a festival on Saturday. So it's been a busy week.
For folks that don't know, Jimmy Fortune is from the Statler Brothers, right?
Oh yeah, well, he was with the Statler Brothers almost 25 years, and he's out doing his Jimmy Fortune thing. He's really popular. He's a great guy, one of the greatest singers ever, and has written some big hits. So
let me ask you a question. CMA Fest. I've never been to CMA Fest. I went to Fanfare back in '85. Is it still the same where you all the artists kind of gather? You've got your booth set up.
No, it's not.
It's not like that anymore.
No, it's big time. It's just turned into this huge thing. They have shows at the Tennessee Titan Stadium. That's big. They have shows down on the riverfront. That's big. They have shows at the convention center. There's a lot goes on. There's a huge convention center here in Nashville, and they have different stages set up for that. And
I liked it the way it was, man. It was like it was at the Tennessee State Fairgrounds. Every artist has got a booth. You walk up, you meet T. Ray Brown. You go a little further, you meet Randy Travis. You get it was like a one-stop shop. I mean, I met so many people in 1985, it wasn't even funny. Bo Duke, Alabama, Johnny Lee, everybody was there. And that's what they needed to kind of keep that format. That's where everybody
that's the way it used to be. The Country Music Association has grown this thing. It's just humongous. It's unbelievable. There's Nashville's packed with people. Lower Broadway is another place that's exploded. A bunch of stars have bars down there, and dang, it's crazy down there. It's like Las Vegas or something. So Nashville's just exploded. It's crazy.
I just came up probably about 3 months ago, and I had stepped away from everything for about 15 years, and then I came back in 23. And I went to the Row. I had some meetings down there when I first came back, and I was shocked at the skyscrapers now that are built all the way up from coming up that Demonbreun exit. I mean, there's a freaking skyscraper all the way up to right there where that exit was off of 40. And then everything that's grown up on the row, I was blown away on 16th and 17th, what had happened. And
well, Music Row's not really Music Row anymore. You know,
I saw
a lot of places have moved, different headquarters, and yeah, it's nuts. It's not. Hey, I moved here 44 years ago, when Music Row was still Music Row, and it's just not like that anymore.
Tom had a funny thing on Vince. He said they went to go get breakfast or something, and Vince Gill was like, "When the heck did they put that there? I live here, and when did they build that? So I was lost. If it wasn't for knowing where Grand was and those side streets, I would have been lost on me. I didn't know where. I didn't recognize anything.
Well, they're still building, man. I don't know if it'll stop anytime soon. It's just really, really big time. Nashville's just a popular place all over the United States. It's just one of those cities that has kind of taken on a cool vibe, and everybody wants to come here.
I love the people. I love the artists. I love, when I broke out, before I got my deals, I was listening to you on my drive into town. You was guys like Deborah, your voices inspired us to come in. Not that we didn't want to be the next, at least speaking for myself, I just wanted to be worthy of standing beside the guys that I respected so much, and I ended up going on and doing the writing and all that stuff with people I never dreamed I would meet, much less be a regular co-writer with. And that's the magic of that city. And you were one of the people, you were one of the pieces, key important pieces that made that town magical. You rank right there with Cash and the rest of them.
Well, Paul Overstreet just got in the Country Music Hall of Fame. I was talking to him a while ago. Actually, he's a real good friend of mine, and I'm gonna get him to be. There's so many great songwriters. I don't really. I got to admit now, I don't really know what's going on today. In country music, I just don't. I don't have anything against it. I just don't listen to it. I have a show on Sirius XM. I've been doing about 8 years, and I listen to Sirius a lot. Man, you know what? My favorite thing to listen to really is classic rock.
Classic rock is where it's at, my man.
Hey, you turn on Kansas and you got me, buddy. I give me some Blue Oyster
I like
Cult.
classic rock and classic country both. To me, that is the two best genres. I love the 80s as well, but oh no. He just mentioned Kansas. I'm fixing my bucket list. I got Kansas and
Dust in the wind, baby.
Blue Carry on, wayward son. Point of no return. Play the game tonight. I told him in our last interview, I'm fixing to knock the bucket list over this week. I've got Kansas and 38 Special in the same show. I'm looking forward to seeing that on Friday.
Yeah, heck yeah. I would be too.
Well, I'd like to see T. Graham Brown too. I'd love to be able to get up there and watch you do some wine in the water and don't go to strangers. You were in a movie, man. I've
been in a few movies. You were talking about Heartbreak Hotel. Yeah, that's been 30 years ago or so. Yeah, I had a little bit. I'm in a movie now that it hasn't been released yet. I get a lot of scripts sent to me to read for parts. So I do. Hey, man, I ain't no great actor. I'm just doing it for the fun of it. Yeah. Here's the good thing. Sheila and I, we've been doing this so long, and we're at a place in our lives where we don't have to do nothing we don't want to do. If an offer for a show comes in and we want to do it, we do it. If not, we pass on it. It's such a good feeling to be able to do what you want to do and not have anybody telling you what to do. It's a great feeling.
What station on Sirius XM are you on?
Prime Country. It's channel 58. Prime Country, that channel plays country music from the year 1980 through 2000. It's a 20-year period. My show is called Live Wire, and I only play live cuts from artists' live albums. So it's like going from concert to concert. And I have a guest. I do one a month. They air it 10 times during the month. Then it goes on their own demand out, and people can listen to it whenever they want to.
I got the app. I need to go check it out. I didn't even know you were on there.
Yeah, just type in T. Graham Brown on the search
Now,
bar.
do you record that at the house, or do you got to go to a studio, or how do they do that?
I usually go downtown. Sirius XM just opened up a new studio right across the street from the Ryman.
Nice.
And it's great. It's a great studio. So I do it there. I mean, I have the capability of doing it here. For instance, when it was COVID, I did them all here. But it's fun to go down to the Sirius XM studio, and I'm hoping I can get Paul on this next month's show. Get Overstreet to come down there and bring his guitar and sing a few.
You are the sixth. You are the sixth person I have literally talked to in 3 weeks who just was on the phone with Paul Overstreet, and I'm like, call me, Paul. We need to do the same thing. We need to connect with him too. So
yeah, we need to get him on our show. I've been trying to hook him up too, and he said we could do it. And then I sent him an email back, and I haven't heard anything else back from it.
No worries. It's scheduling and with everything going on.
Yeah, he's down at, Reba McEntire built a studio called Starstruck years ago, and Paul's down there working with a girl from Texas today.
Okay.
That seems like a pretty sweet gig at Sirius, though. That would be. I told Rhino, I said, maybe we can build this show that we're doing now big enough to where one day we could get us on Sirius XM.
Well, that's a cool bunch of folks. They just let me they leave me alone. They let me, I pick all the music. I choose all the guests.
You're T. Graham Brown, bro. They're not going to give you any trouble. I mean, you're like if Elvis. I mean, Elvis, here's his show. Do what you want to do. T. Graham, do your thing.
Yeah, well, like I said, we've been doing it 8 years, so they must like it, or they wouldn't let me. They wouldn't keep me around if it wasn't successful for them.
You've definitely got something good going on. So you say you're fixing to head to the Opry. Is it part of CMA Fest or?
No, I do the Opry a lot. Let me look right here, man. I was looking at this a second ago. All right, tonight is Stephen Curtis Chapman, big Christian act. Mandy Barnett. Charlie McCoy, Rhonda Vincent, and then there's some new acts that I'm not familiar with. Flatline Cavalry, y'all might have heard of them. Yep. Lacey K. Booth and Laney Gardner. So I always go. You know what's fun, man? Is when there's a new act at the Opry, I always track them down, get to their dressing room, tell them hello, tell them welcome to the Opry and all that. So I get to know a lot of people. I mean, you're
a good ambassador, man.
I try.
Well, I mean, and at the same time,
I never played the Opry.
You've been around the business so long, man. You could give these folks, these young acts that you meet, you can give them some little pointers, and I'm sure most of them are scared out of their wits. They're nervous as all get out, and I could see T. Graham is like, this ain't no big deal, dude. It's all good.
Well, I always try to encourage them, I pat them on the back. Hey, I was a new act at one time, so I appreciate that, and it makes me feel good to give people confidence and, just tell them, hey, I'm proud of you and all that.
And I can guarantee you they appreciate your wisdom and your guidance and your assurance as well. I mean, again, Rhino said it. I said it. You're a legend, bud. You are absolutely a legend. I literally can't believe we actually got you on the show today.
Hey, you know what? Let me tell you something. one of the very, very coolest thing I'm talking about, one of the very coolest things is there were a group of us that came out the same year. Our first albums came out the same year. It was Yoakum, Steve Earle, Keith Whitley, Randy Travis, Marty Stewart, and me. And that was in 1985, 86, something like that. And the coolest thing is we all love each other, and we've all stayed in touch with each other, and we all pull for each other. And if anybody needs the other one to help them out, we just call them up, you know. So it's
And all of y'all have reached the top echelon. Y'all have all been big stars and still are.
well, that was a good year.
I got
Rob, that's the epitome of what tribe is. What he just demonstrated. That's what I've said. I didn't create it. I've just tried to keep it going from what I saw in Nashville and what I experienced myself. I'm trying to be a good steward for what was given to me. And what he just spoke on, those names, those people, for my generation, for me, it was Leanne Womack. For me, it was Big Kenny. For me, it was Rory Feek and Tom Worth. He was the pup in the group, you know. And for us, that was our brood coming up. You know, the Billy Yates, you know, Gretchen Wilson.
you mentioned Dwight Yoakam. I've always liked Dwight Yoakam. I've never been like a huge fan, but I got to go see him a month or so ago with ZZ Top, and Dwight Yoakam. I'm probably his biggest fan now. My wife doesn't even like country music. My wife went with me. Loved her some Dwight Yoakam. So yeah, I mean, I can see Dwight Yoakam. It changes your thinking of the person when you get to go see them and appreciate what they do and realize that dude's been doing this for 41 years. I mean, he's been doing this a while. And yeah, man, you're right on, man. I mean, y'all are a tight-knit group, and instead of like having animosity against the other person, you guys are all lifting each other up. I mean, I know it would probably get easy in that realm, in that circle, to be able to like be maybe jealous of what somebody else is doing. But again, you guys seem to be 100% brothers all the way.
We never were jealous of each other, man.
That's
we
good.
pull for each other.
Yep.
You know, just the opposite of being jealous of anybody, you know.
I got to meet Randy Travis before he was Randy Travis. He had, I think he was, I don't remember, Moonshine Records or whatever the name of the record company was, but he had a song called On the Other Hand. And I met him at Fanfare in 1985. Walked up to him, and there was a couple people there. There was not a whole lot of people there. Walked up, shook his hand. Very nice, gentle, excellent guy. I was in my second year working in radio, and I told him, I said, you're going to be, of course, he probably already knew that, but I said, you're going to be a big deal one day. Didn't know how right I was going to be, but great guy, man. Randy Travis is real nice.
Bless his heart, you know, he's in a wheelchair now, and he can't really talk. I saw him a couple of weeks ago. I get to see him probably 5 times a year, maybe, and hug his neck, and he's always got a big grin on his face. You know, I'm so glad that he's still around. You know.
Yes. Well, I can relate. I can relate to the wheelchair. I'm in a wheelchair. I've been in a wheelchair 6 years now, and my life has changed totally. But again, with him, he's still the same man. He's still got that same soul, and he's still got that same heart that everybody fell in love with in the mid to 80s, all the way to the 2000s.
Plus, he's got a great wife, Mary, that takes great care of him. You know,
he seems happy every time I see him. He always got a smile on his face, and I know it can't be easy going through the things he's going through, but he's always got a smile on his face.
Yeah, he's always been that way.
But T, we could talk for hours.
Oh, by the way, let me throw another thing at you, another Paul Overstreet thing at you. He wrote On the Other Hand.
Yep.
So,
with my old publisher. Yep. With Don Schlitz.
Yep. Bless Don's heart, man. I was at service for him about a month ago. He was a great guy, too. I've been knowing those guys since, golly, 82, 83, something like that.
Where I met you, and it was nothing more than a greeting and a handshake. And I'm thinking we were probably at the ASCAP Awards, and that's where and Pat Halper at the time, Wayne Halper and Pat Halper, Chuck Flood, all those guys, and Schlitz and I had started writing after he signed me, and they were introducing, and they said, "Do you know T. Graham?" Of course I don't know T. Graham Brown. Do you want to? Yeah, of course I want to go meet T. Graham Brown. So I was the tall, skinny kid in the wide brim resist-all hat that was all ears and attitude rolling up to meet you. So, and it was a pleasure then, just as it's been an honor to follow your career.
Oh, thank you, man. It was so funny you mentioned ZZ Top. You know, Billy Gibbons is a really good friend of mine. One of the good things is I've met everybody, and I got everybody's telephone number. And so if I need somebody to do something, I just call them up.
I'm gonna tap into your phone right now through the screen so I can get all those phone numbers. We're going to be having all kinds of people on the show, Rhino.
Well, to the point that y'all touched on a minute ago, but it's great for the listeners. You kept touching on about people being jealous and stuff like that. That's not at the real genuine level. Those people that he mentioned before, that was his graduating class, so to speak, that broke out. Light recognizes light, just like what we say all the time on here. And those guys connected with each other because they'd all fought and climbed to get there. And those guys were all grateful. They were just humble and they were grateful. Of course, they had some shoes they had to grow into their new reality, and all people do. But what they experienced, that was a different type of camaraderie. That's what I referenced to just quickly, that where my generation coming in right behind them. And for me, there is nothing but rooting and joy and proud. If you see one of your friends get an award or get recognized, you're right there stand up on your feet cheering for them, because if one of you win, all of you win. And so that's what I was saying. That's really the only time you get animosity is usually from the hired agencies or entities, and that's where sometimes I've seen some weird stuff, like when it comes to representation, not from the old school people, but from some of the new crops. They want their guy to win, and the people who are at the top of the heap, they're rooting for each other.
Well, T. Graham, I know I don't want to cut you off, but I don't want you to be late for the Rob Opry. We can sit here and talk all you want, but I'm gonna let you.
God bless you. Hey, God bless you guys, and thanks for having me on the show. God bless all the listeners and viewers, and God bless the United States of America.
Amen on that. What we normally do at the end of the interview, any song you want us to play by T. Graham Brown, give us a backstory on that song, and we will put it in at the end of this interview.
Wine in the Water, baby. That's the one to play. That might help somebody. I went through some crazy times with alcohol and drugs, and emerged victorious. God took care of me, let me live, and I think that my and Sheila's personal ministry is to educate people about mental illness and try to save people some trouble on this alcoholism and drug addiction.
Yes, sir.
T. Graham Brown, you're a good man, and I 100% appreciate you being with us here on the show. And go out there and knock them dead on the Grand Ol Opry tonight, my man.
I'll do it, brother. Thank you. God bless you guys.
Appreciate you. Here you go, Wine in the Water. T. Graham Brown on the Uncle Show.
Thanks.
Thanks, T. Graham.